What's up, everybody? I am here with a good friend and someone I really admire, Annie Yoder. Today we're going to talk about a new emerging category of self-knowledge and understanding called human design. And Annie's an expert. So she's going to talk about what human design is, how you can apply it in your life, what the benefits are, and even the human design charts of famous people like Elon Musk and Beyonce. This channel's mission is to help shape a world where more people experience mental, emotional, and financial freedom. And I really think that human design can play a part in shaping a better life and experience. So again, very excited to dive into this topic and expand our thinking. And guys, if you enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for weekly sales, mental health, and personal growth hacks that you can chew on like snacks. Annie, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Chris. It's great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. So let's dive right into it. What is human design and how did it get started?
Human design.
Okay.
Human design is basically a super system for self-understanding. It's a personal map or blueprint that points to the mechanical function of the energies that move through you, how to use the energy that you're designed with. And it points to what parts of you are operating that are innate and consistent, and what parts of you are you conditioned by the people around you or your environment or your upbringing. It distinguishes your true self from your conditioning. The process is here to help us decondition old programming that doesn't serve us in being the person we're here to be. And in that deconditioning process, and you're aligned with the natural energies that flow through you, then you're empowered to choose the conditioning that you want to take on. We're always being conditioned. As you watch this video, you're conditioning yourself, so you follow Chris's videos.
Follow me.
It's awesome. We all condition each other for better or for worse, but having the clarity about what part of you is running your life and what part of you is making decisions. Is it coming from conditioned patterns, or is it coming from an authentic place where you're making decisions that are truly correct for the life that you're living and the person that you're here to be? How it started is kind of a wild story, but
a little woo-woo.
Give it a chance.
Give it a chance, guys.
It was a revelation that was received by a man named Ra Uru in the 1980s. And it was this discovery. It was a presence that he called a voice that was with him. It was a mystical experience. And this information was embedded within him. It was like he was impregnated with this information that he slowly began to unpack. And he spent the next 35 years, the rest of his life, unpacking the information and teaching it to people. So it's a very interesting discovery process because it blends multiple bodies of knowledge. It brings in some ancient spiritual esoteric knowledge and some modern sciences that blend together, and he found this almost perfect mathematical parallel between ancient knowledge like the Chinese I Ching with modern science like our genetics. For example, the Chinese I Ching is a part of human design. What Ra discovered was that there's an accurate and predictable map that shows us how to see what it is that's activated in our design and what it is that we're open. It's like we have receptors that are pulling in conditioning from other people and from our environment. And this is where we can pull in traps in our life. This is where we can get stuck in loops or cycles that aren't serving us. This is where we can be put in a box by other people. And so being able to distinguish your true self from your conditioning is key to making empowered decisions in a way that's going to lead you to having more flow and success and ease in your life and bypassing that resistance field in your life altogether.
That's beautifully put. Who hasn't felt stuck before or trapped, and who doesn't want to experience that flow state where they're living authentically and fully? Now, a question that I see out there a lot in terms of what people are searching on YouTube for when it comes to human design is it legit? And how does it compare to astrology? Is it the same thing as astrology? Could you enlighten us on that topic?
Yeah, I'll start with the second question, which is astrology. So to break it down, human design is a synthesis of the Chinese I Ching, astrology, the Jewish Kabbalah, the Hindu Brahmin chakra system. That's the esoteric side. And then we have quantum physics, genetics, and biochemistry. All of that synthesizes into this information that we call your body graph, which is what you see when you run your human design chart. So there is an element of astrology. It's one part of the whole picture. The difference is in astrology, the moment you're born, you're imprinted with your astrological imprint, and that is your astrology. In human design, we actually have two imprints. The moment that you're born, and also 88 days before you're born, and that creates what we call your conscious and your unconscious imprint. So the conscious imprint is parts of you that you probably can identify with. You'll hear about it when someone reads your chart and go, yeah, that resonates. Oh, it makes sense. It validates something in you that you already know deep down. But then the unconscious imprint is a part of you that is not as easily accessible within you. It's something that you come to learn about yourself over time, or that other people reflect to you. But the purpose is to bring awareness to both the conscious and unconscious so that you can integrate the two.
So it's really helpful to see where astrology fits in within human design. It sounds like it combines a lot of different domains into one. Now to go back to that original question though, is human design legit?
Is it legit? My question is, what does that mean to you when you're thinking, is this information legit? I think it's a great question, and the whole function here is for you to make decisions in a way where you're not giving your power to something outside of you unless it feels like, yes, I align with that information, and so I'm going to add it to my life. I'm going to condition myself with that. So that mindset, that consciousness to begin with, is this or that legit? Well, does that mean you gave yourself permission to give your decision-making authority away to something outside of you? Just be aware of that consciousness to begin with. But to really get to your question though, human design is an experimental process. That's the beauty of this, is that you get to try it on and experiment with your own life and your own decision-making and see, is it legit for you? Because you can look at your chart, you can say, well, what does my human design chart say about me then? And then you hear some things about yourself, and it might be comforting, it might be some...
Bella, what are you doing, girl? Come on, girl.
Because you can look at your human design chart, you can say, well, what does my human design say about me? And you might learn some things, it might give you perspective, it might give you comfort, and it be a source of self-help. But ultimately, if you're not using it to make decisions for yourself in a way where no one else can tell you what's correct for you but you, then it kind of loses its power if you're just using it as something to validate something about yourself, or take on another label or an identity for yourself. I'm a manifesting generator. It kind of,
really?
It's fun, but it's not the point. The key here is making decisions, because our world is changing so much. There's so much information and so much conditioning coming from all sides. Your parents are probably telling you one thing about decisions you should make. Your friend circle are telling you another thing. The media is telling you another thing. And so how do you know what to listen to? So when you learn about your human design in terms of what is your decision-making authority, how do you use that? Experiment with the decisions that you make, because that's what creates transformation. It happens over time through a process of making new decisions. And every new decision that you make, it changes the way your cells function in the body. I mean, your whole being becomes transformed. So that's what this is about. Try it on. Don't believe anything anyone says. Try it on for yourself. Experiment with it and see what it does for you in your life.
So it sounds like one of the top benefits is human design provides a new lens through which you can make effective, authentic decisions to you.
Absolutely.
To ultimately live a better life, because life is the sum of our decisions. Now, can you give us a human design chart type 101 session real quick? So what are the top human design types? You mentioned manifesting generator.
Yeah, so Chris and I are manifesting generators.
Yes.
And generator types, so generators and manifesting generators are the most common types. We're 70% of the population. Okay, so pay attention. If you're not a generator, you've probably been conditioned to live like a generator, because that is most of the world. And generators are here to be busy, busy, busy doing work that we're passionate about. That's key, doing work that we're passionate about, because we're moving away from a time where generators have been enslaved to the visions of other people who have been taking advantage of our energy, using it for something that does not bring us vitality and passion.
So like someone stuck in a corporate dead-end job, rather than following their passion as an entrepreneur, that could start a YouTube channel or start a business.
Right.
Dang.
Yes. We pull people and life to us, and then we respond. It just happens in the energy. Life comes to us, and then we use our gut to respond. And the gut says, do I open to this or not? Does it give me energy, or are there knots in the gut? And that is the defining trait of a generator. Then we have projectors, who are 20% of the population. Projectors are amazing. Projectors are here as non-energy types. So projectors are meant to be a little more passive in their energy, because they can walk into a room and observe what's happening with people, what's happening with the energy, and they're very, the potential is that projectors are very wise guides. They're very good at managing other people's energy and knowing how to use energy effectively. But projectors themselves are not designed to be the busy, busy worker bees, because that energy just isn't as consistent, it just works a little bit differently. Projectors are designed to be recognized and invited in to situations. Then we have manifestors, who are 9% of the population. And manifestors, complete opposite of generators. We're pulling things in. Manifestors have this repelling energy, because they're here to carve their own path. It's like honk the horn, because get out of the way, a manifestor's coming through. The manifestor's here to initiate and get the ball rolling, start things. The manifestor often has the vision and has the energy to initiate, but doesn't necessarily have the energy to keep building something to completion. So that's where generators come in to support manifestors in manifesting things into life. And then we have our 1% of the population, which...
You're special.
Unique.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's special.
Oh,
but we
fair.
all
I like that
are
distinction.
unique.
Yes, I'm unique.
Okay.
So what is this 1%?
1% is are reflectors. And reflectors are so unique because reflectors are here to sample different environments and sample all there is to experience in life. And through this sampling, they're very good at assessing how things are going. How is this environment doing over here? How is this teaching going over here? You can just kind of try it on, go, oh, okay, and put that away. Let's go on to the next thing, try that on. And so very interesting people to have in your life, because they can reflect back to you how things are going.
So are they like the Costco goers of human design chart types? You know how Costco has all the samples and then I try it all. But I'm pumped. Dad jokes.
Love it.
Yes. Okay, so now we have an idea of the different types of human design charts. And the question naturally is, what is my human design type? And how do I figure it out? Because everyone wants to know their zodiac sign or their love languages, their Enneagram. How do they figure out what their chart is?
If you just Google human design chart, you'll find different resources for how to generate your chart. My favorite place to go for this is Jovian Archive. That site has the purest information, because a lot of it has been diluted through different teachers and stuff, but I really appreciate the pure source of the information. So jovianarchive.com, and then you can generate your chart there. And just know that you might see something about your type. You might see that you're a generator, for example, and the body graph looks hella confusing, and so just know that. It's best to work with an expert who can give you a one-on-one reading, who understands how to read those nuances of your design.
Like Annie. Reach out to her.
Because we have those 4 types, but there are actually 69,000 points of imprint in human design. So it gets so specific that it's hard to generalize what it is that makes up you as an individual. So generate your chart, see what you get from that, and then if you want to go further, you can book a reading with me or do some self-study and research online.
Okay, perfect. And can you also figure out the human design chart type of your puppy?
You can. If you know your puppy's birth time, there are pet charts
Okay.
as well. Yeah.
I know she's November 11th. I don't know the time, so I'll figure that out.
11/11.
We'll get back to you.
She's an angel puppy.
Yes, she is. And so could you talk through some of the benefits of knowing your human design chart type and of being able to apply it in your life? And could you share it through the lens of a story or a personal anecdote?
Yes, so it's called a deconditioning experiment. It's a 7-year process of following what's called your strategy and your authority. Our strategy is wait to respond. We're waiting for that opportunity to come to us and then use our gut response. And so one example is last summer, I was moving away from Austin. I was very clear it was time to leave, yet I still had a 2-bedroom apartment in Austin, which is not cheap, and I had that lease all the way through the next year, and I knew I needed a solution for what to do with my apartment in Austin so that I could leave. So I'm experimenting with my design and my deconditioning. I'm waiting to respond and then using my gut response. And the week before I was moving, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. I was doubting the entire decision, second guessing myself, and then it turned out that everything that went wrong was actually setting the stage for the right thing to happen. And that was the day before I moved. I got a phone call from a friend I hadn't heard from in 2 years, and he said, "Hey, do you happen to know of anyone who's subleasing their apartment for a couple of months?" His lease ended that day, the day that I was moving, and he moved into my apartment the next day. It was so efficient. Our conversation was 12 minutes, and that was that. So the universal timing is so much more efficient than what we think should happen. If I were using my mind and like trying to force an outcome and I was initiating something that wasn't gonna work, it would have led to burnout, a lot of wasted time, wasted energy, feeling frustrated, feeling disappointed, and maybe I would have found someone that would have been a bad fit. Who knows? But that has been my experience my entire life. I don't know about you because I've been trying to force things, and I'm not a manifester. I'm not here to initiate like that. I'm here to wait to respond, and life comes at the perfect timing every time.
Wow, that is a really helpful anecdote to understand some of the benefits of understanding your decision authority and your strategy. Is that the right term, by the way, strategy?
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like the audience out there could go and research and understand their human design type and figure out their decision authority and their strategy, and maybe they get the help of an expert like yourself to interpret it, and they can apply it in their life. And I'm also a manifesting generator, so I can relate to that weighted out strategy. There was a point in my career where I was changing jobs, or at least thinking of changing jobs and moving companies, and I waited and I didn't rush, and the solution eventually presented itself. So totally relate to that. Can your human design chart type change over time?
I get that question a lot, and we always have the foundation of our imprint. We'll always be manifesting generators. And that doesn't mean there's no room for growth. There's so much room to expand and evolve as humans, and our personalities can change. We have new realizations that change our inner being throughout our life. But we'll always have that foundation imprint. What can happen is we go through certain cycles throughout our life. For example, the Saturn return cycle happens at about 29 and a half for 3 years, and there's a new imprint at that time for that whole cycle, and we usually experience internal changes and external changes in our lives. So that's one example of cycles that can happen where there's a change, but the foundation is always the same.
I've got one final question for you, and it's a loaded one. What are the human design chart types of some famous people? I feel like it'd be fun to look into that.
Oh yeah, you know who else is a manifesting generator?
Who?
Beyonce.
Oh my gosh, Queen Bee.
Yes, and Elon Musk. I like to think of my chart as like a blend between Elon Musk and Britney Spears and Eckhart Tolle.
Wow, I could see that.
So,
what a combination.
So Elon Musk, what does he talk about? Well, to be successful, you gotta work the grind. He's like, I've been working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, year over year. You gotta work the grind, because he's a manifesting generator. Of course, that's his path to success, just like you and I. And Jeff Bezos, on the other hand, is a projector. He's a non-energy type, and he's not designed to work like a generator. And he says, no, you should get some rest. You should spend time with your family. You don't have to work the grind to be successful. It can happen in other ways. And you know what? That's absolutely correct for him, because he's a projector and that's his path to success. So both are true. And you might resonate with one or the other depending on your type.
That's fascinating. You know, I know that Jeff Bezos does talk about work-life harmony, and I can totally see how his approach to success is slightly different than Elon Musk. But the cool thing is they both found their way to success in a pretty incredible life. Well, Annie, this was a great conversation. You got me thinking about some new concepts and ideas, and I'm sure you did the same for the audience. Everyone out there, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. The YouTube algorithm loves that. And make sure to get in touch with Annie. So Annie, where can people find you? How can they get in contact?
You can go to my website, annieyoderhumandesign.com, and book a reading with me, or send me a message on my contact page. We can be in touch.
I definitely encourage you to reach out to Annie and connect. It's going to be a great conversation. And I actually went through one of her seminars, and it was really insightful. I learned a lot more about myself, and I've been applying it in my life. And of course, guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, especially if you've been wandering around checking out some of the videos. Welcome to the community, and I hope you continue to stop by for weekly sales, mental health, and personal growth hacks that you can chew on like snacks. Happy selling and happy living.